And we are live.
And we are live. Welcome back, guys, to Real Talk with Andres and Heather. It's been a minute, but we are back with the podcast where we say the quiet part out loud about real estate and all of the things nobody warns you about, all while we're live streaming. So if there's any mistakes out, you get what you get, and it is what it is.
That's it. That's the beauty of it, right? And this came from a stage of how and social media. This is real stories, real mistakes, real money, and real consequences from agents, buyers, sellers, and business owners living it in real time. So if you want to hear from people in the field, other professionals who come to this show and hear how this really works, you're in the right place. I'm Andres, and this is Heather. Let's get into some real talk.
Let's get into some real talk. We've had some real time off, but not really. We've stepped away a minute from the podcast to work on other things and get them ready for everybody. But I wouldn't call it time off. I would call it time delegated to other things, I guess.
Yeah, and I think we talk about that a number of times here, where time management is crucial in this business, and with a number of things that we have going on the personal side and the business side, I think it was necessary to take the time off, not to be away from the podcast, but just to make sure that we take care of the things that needed our attention at that time. So I think it was great, right? I think you had a competition with your daughter had a competition. Um, so that was great. Great time off, great time away from the business, and some great quality time with the family, which is necessary.
Definitely. Yep. It's the school year's ending, the competition year is ending, all sports are winding down. So it's a very busy time right now trying to handle all of the school stuff, and we've got graduations going on. So it's a lot. So we're trying to get all of that taken care of. And then meanwhile, you're just like knocking it out of the park real estate wise. You've got so much going on. You guys are super busy over there, and that's awesome. That's really, really good.
It is. It was a crazy week indeed. I think everything came together all at once. Between a listing that I had sitting for longer than I wanted, a buyer who her first phrase when I we met was like, "I don't know if it's possible. It's gonna be a challenge, but if you can find me this somebody in the dream and that property, we'll make it happen." And sure enough, within 60 days, we were closing the deal. So it was a beautiful thing. And on top of that, other transactions came into play. So I closed buyer, closed the listings, got another listing on the contract, and listed another property all within 1 week. So I was running around a little bit like a chicken without the head. Um, Because mind you, I've been in the industry. I'll be honest, I've been in the industry for what 3 years now, but I haven't fully committed to being 100% into real estate because of all the things we had going on, right? So, so I want this to be my new normal, right? When you're in the real estate space, this is what you want to have. You want to have, like my coach said, two, three pending at all times, and that will keep you busy. And man, it's great feeling to be able to see the people's happiness when they walk through their home. In fact, that buyer, they were blessing their house yesterday, and she was like, "You have to be part of that. Like, you helped me get to this point. You have to be part of that." And seeing how happy she was, and her daughter, the first time her daughter saw the property, that's a priceless moment right there, and that's what it's all about. Just seeing people go through their house the first time, their kids go through the house the first time, and be like, "Man, this is awesome. This is we were not expecting this," because the kids in particular did not know that she was getting a new house until she got the keys, and and that was amazing to see. That's what it's all
That is
about.
awesome. That is, I can imagine that would be super cool for the kids. Be like, surprise, a house, and like just to see that. like that raw emotion, because that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing.
It is. It was, and something I'm asking my kids nowadays every day is, what's something I have amazing that happened for you today? What's something that you're grateful for today? Simple question. I ask them every day. Even my grandkids, he's 5 years old. Every day I ask him. And then we were working with the kids yesterday in their house, and I asked them, and all four of them were like, the house, like this is this is nice, and that just like just seeing how happy they were from being there, that made my day, and that's why I got into this business. I'm working with another buyer that submitting an offer today that I met 2 years ago. 2 years ago, through a Facebook mm, ads, right? And one of the first thing that she said, I showed them some houses that time, and they were not ready. And one of the first things she said to me was like, "I tried to purchase before, but the person really wasn't trying to help us. Um, we got really disappointed, and then we try again, and once they looked at our numbers, they completely ghosted us, and that hurt because I've been there. I took that personal. I was one of those person that I had somebody working with me, and then all of a sudden, both the loan officer and the agent just disappeared, and I lost the house that I wanted. Like I really wanted the house, and all of a sudden they disappear, and that broke me at the time and my ex, and we did not follow through in purchasing because we just didn't. And it's not that we were not able to financially. We had no debt. We had good credit, great income. It's not that we couldn't. It's just we didn't have the resources, the knowledge, and the people around us to help us get there. And the people that we entrusted for it ghosted us. That's heartbreak. So I met this lady 2 years ago, and now she just got pre-approved, ready to go. And I've been showing her daughter some houses over the past week because she's out of town for the next for the past month. And she just said to me, I'm really grateful that I met you when we did, because you've been on top of it for the past 2 years, helping me push through, get the things that I need to, so we can get to this point. I'm finally ready to make that jump and be able to get something for my kids, you know, and that's it, you know. There's so many families, so many people here that can purchase, that can be homeowners, and they don't know, nor do they have somebody to help them get to that finish line. Because a lot of people come in and they're expecting their ideal client with everything ready to go, all the paper lined up, the dream home already picked, and they want the easy work. Just show two or three houses, submit an offer, and ready to roll. But it takes more than that. There's so many people that just need to be handheld for a little bit to get to the finish line. And I'm okay doing that. That's I needed that at some point, you know. And I know there's so many people out there that need that, and just to be able to do that for people, I'm blessed to have the opportunity to do so.
It really is. I know I say all the time that real estate is such an emotional journey. And I think that even though I say it all the time, people forget that. People get lost in the whole, like, house hunting and the debate of like, should you have a realtor, should you not have a realtor, the whole commission thing. Like, everybody loses sight of the fact that it's such an emotional journey for everybody, for the sellers, for the buyers, for the agents. It's a, I mean, and there's even people that are involved in like a real estate transaction. You've got inspectors, you've got lenders, you've got underwriters, you've got appraisers, you've got brokers. I mean, there's so many people, transaction coordinators that go into the workings of one transaction. You've got the closing attorneys, the title company, all of these people that are all involved in this process for these families. And at the end of the day, there's so many different emotional journeys for every single closing. And I think people lose sight of that a lot of the times, and they just think about the paperwork or the file or the closing or the commission.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's emotional in some different angles, right? Just another quick story over the past week. Someone's stress is somebody else's blessing. You sometimes you have to make a phone call and keep making phone calls, and the right person will come along. The right opportunity for the right person will come along. Because this happened to me last week, right? I'm calling. I needed a few things done on a property that I was selling to take care of. I call a dozen people. I got quotes from a dozen people, right? And the last minute, somebody said I got quoted 400, 500, 600 to take care of a particular item. Uh, and I call a number of people, and they're like, "Yeah, that sounds about right." And then I called somebody else that was when we called him, he was just sitting down, had a long day, recently has shoulder surgery, completely stressed out about income, right? Going through a difficult time. And I called him up to be able to quote me for a particular job. And he quote me one third of what everybody else was trying to quote me for. And I'm like, and he lived farther out, about an hour away from where I needed the property, the job done. And I said, yeah, that would be great. I'm gonna run and get everything that you need. Just tell me what you need. Just run over here. By the time you get here, I should be back. And I went ahead and I paid them what everybody else quoted me for. He quoted me one third of that. I gave him the whole thing everybody else quoted. I had no problem paying what was quoted to somebody who really needed it. And his eyes lit up when he saw the amount that I paid him. He didn't know I was paying him that much. And his eyes lit up like, damn, this is truly a blessing. I really appreciate it. And for me, that, like I said, it's somebody's. I was stressed out about getting a particular job done, and for him, that was a blessing that opportunity came from. And sometimes you just got to keep making the phone calls to get to the right person, whether it's real estate, whether you need somebody some work done, whether buying or selling. Sometimes you're gonna come across that person that really hears what you have to say. And for him, just sitting down after a long day, he didn't think about it twice to run over for the opportunity, nor did I think about it twice to give him a lot more than what he asked for. And knowing that he was in need makes it even more sweet, you know, because I was able to help in other areas that he needed, and he was not expecting that.
Yeah.
And what bothers me is sometimes you have other people quoting you, giving you numbers over the thing, just knowing because you're in a tight situation, they want to take advantage of that. So it's unfortunate, but it's the reality of it, right?
It is. And unfortunately, that's the most common reality. The most common reality is everybody taking advantage of everybody. The story you just shared is the exception to that rule because that's what normally doesn't happen. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's like you never know. You never know how something you do can impact somebody's life and change, their day, their week, their month, their year, their whole life by something, that you do. And, like you said, you were just like stressing out about trying to get that done. And that guy was like, just, it was a blessing to him. It was a stress to you and kind of an annoyance to other people. But when they are like, well, we don't want to do that job out there. And he's like, oh no, this is a blessing. So I think God puts the right people in your path for a reason. And
Yeah, and then is I talked to him afterwards, and more opportunities came his way. You know, he was stressing out about getting the things done, how he's gonna be able to pay his car. All of a sudden, I bring him along. I give him way more than he asked, and he has other opportunities coming his way. Not from necessarily from me, but just people around him reaching out. And and sometimes, it happens. We don't see it coming, but there's opportunities around us that we sometimes don't see because we're focused on the wrong thing.
Yep.
And I feel like that had been me for a number of months, right? I focus on the wrong thing and I'm missing out on opportunities in real estate that are around me because I was just simply not focused on that. So, and sometimes you got to be open minded. Sometimes you allow things to come to you and explore and help other people just to help and not necessarily because there's any interest for you, but just to be able to help. And that alone will open the doors for you in the future. It's you can't make it about you all the time.
Well, you can. It just won't work out for you very well. You'll think it's
Yeah.
working out for you well, but in the end, it won't. But speaking of what you can and what you can't do you have a what would you do story for us? I know we're already at the top of the hour, but I think we have time for a little. What would you do if you have a story for us?
I would not even say a story. It's just a quick question on what would you do scenario, right?
Okay.
So assume you had discussed you had a transaction going, right? For the longest time, you had a transaction going, and all of a sudden you join a team, and from the get go, that transaction was stated to be a personal transaction, not part of a team transaction, right? You know the different splits. Every team had different splits,
Right.
plus the brokerage split and so on. Well, all of a sudden your transaction closed, and you get deducted the team split. What would you do in that scenario?
So, you know what they say about assumptions. They make an ass out of you and me. So I wouldn't automatically jump to the conclusion that, oh, someone's trying to screw me over. I would first, I would say, okay, maybe this is, since I'm on a team and the person that does the commissions, maybe they just assumed they didn't read the paperwork, they didn't, whatever. So let me go talk to my team lead first. So I'd go whoever my team lead is and say, hey, this was taken out of my check. It wasn't supposed to be taken out of my check. Can you look into it for me? And then see what they say. If they say like, oh yeah, oh that was a mistake. Yeah, let me go talk to our person who handles our agent's relation person or whoever. And if they handle it that way, okay, cool. That it was an honest paperwork error. But if they're like, what's your issue? You're on the team. It's a team split. Now then we'd be having, a little bit of issues. But I would say go back and read your contract because what people say is one thing and then what's in writing and what you sign is another. So did you sign somewhere in that contract saying that any open works or any open negotiations or any open contracts, anything like that are in the works when you sign up for the team, they become team property? Because if they did and you sign that, then that's on you, unfortunately, and you're stuck in that situation. But I guess that's what I would do.
Okay, fair enough. Fair
What
enough.
about you? What would you do?
I'd say it's just about the same. Yeah, ask what happened, what's going on, because at then we were on the same page as far as that split, and then see what comes out of that after that conversation, and then based on that, then and there might be another conversation to be had because yeah, depending on what the outcome is from the first one and what's done, then certainly another conversation will be had because you are also part of the team required entitled to a number of personal transactions a year.
Yeah.
So if particular one was not placed on that, and then you have others transaction more specifically going towards that, then there's certainly something a conversation to be had.
I know, like you said, every team, every cut Every team has different splits, different cuts, and every brokerage. So it really just comes down to reading your contract, knowing what you're signing, understanding the splits, understanding, and if you don't understand it, then take it and have it read by an attorney, somebody who does understand what they're reading. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in saying, let me go take, like, I think a lot of agents, when they go to brokerages, they don't interview brokerages. They don't interview teams. They just, like, the first brokerage that'll accept them because they're a new agent, they're excited and they're like, oh, I just want to get, signed up. But you need to be scouting for you, negotiating for you. And so when you go and you talk to the brokerage owners, and they're giving you the paperwork and they're saying, okay, well, sign here. These are our splits. You can join a team. You don't have to sign there that day. You can say, let me take this, let me review it, let me think about it. Take the time to read all 159 pages of a contract if that's what you're given. I don't think it'll be that long, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
read it. Make sure you understand it before you move forward. Because once you sign it, you sign it. And there's a lot of teams, and I know this from experience, not the team that I was on, but I know from agent friend of mine's, there are a lot of teams that, even if they're your personal contacts, as soon as you put your personal contacts into their CRM, they now belong to the team. So when you leave, you can't take your contacts with you. And I was kind of shocked that I saw that written in a contract, actually. But I mean, if you sign it, you sign it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would suck. Giving your personal contacts in there? Like, come on. Yeah.
I don't think that's very common, but I saw that, and I was kind of like, oh my god, like, that's a bit extreme.
Seriously, I understand if they have providing you leads and that's totally fair. But as far as your contacts, mm, yeah, that and I think, like you said, it's so essential to review all of that because as an agent, you might be looking at joining a team for a particular reason, but if you don't go through the details, you may find out that okay, it's not as good as you think it is. You know, um, I'm not getting everything that I thought I was getting, and if I do, it's even a bigger split. So I think it's essential that idea of okay, I'm on a team. I'm gonna be able to get this. I'm gonna be able to get that. Find out exactly how you're getting those things that you want. You know, whether it's a local team, whether it's a team outside of your state. Find out how you're gonna be served as being part of that team specifically, so that you can maximize what you're getting out of it as an individual agent, and that you're growing. Right. So at the end of the day, we want to be able to get more production. We want to be able to grow, expand our reach. If that team is not able to do that, then that might not be the best choice for you. So I think it's very important to look at all the details there. Along those lines, I wanted to ask you if, on your experience, if you have worked for a, or would you like to have a transaction coordinator or a team coordinator that handles repairs and everything?
So I have, when I was on a team, when I was the lead buyer's agent for Holden Homes, and then I had a transaction coordinator, and then on my own I had a transaction coordinator as well. And I say yes for multiple reasons. Yes, because anytime you're delegating work out, obviously you're freeing up time for you to do other things, right? Whether that's more lead generation, work with other clients, time with your family, however you delegate your time. So there's always the time factor in that. And then also there's like somebody else that's there to keep you on track, somebody checking everything, and then just having things like that just done automatically so that you don't ever have those, whether that's by a person, whether it's automated, however your system is, just having that system in place where there's like the checks to make sure that everything is getting done is amazing. There's no true transactions that are ever identical. So when so much can go, and especially if it's not so common right now because the market has slowed down. So agents aren't dealing with like 10 transactions a month at the moment. Not the normal agent anyways. Your average agent does not have 10 transactions a month right now. But that's not unheard of. It is possible depending on how much you hustle. So I would say like any more than 3 transactions a month, if you're working with buyers and you're trying to set up all those showings, trying to do all, with everything, that's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with. So if you don't have a system in place, if you don't have a pipeline in place, if you don't have somebody updating that stuff, yeah, it can get a little bit hectic, and you can start missing things. You can start missing deadlines. So just imagine if you were super busy and did have 10 active buyers, and you've got due diligence periods, you've got finance contingencies, you've got all these things that you could be missing because you're trying to juggle all the balls in the air, and you're not doing it.
Yeah, I think when it comes to getting to certain production and certain level, then yeah, I think it's essential. But also for a newer agent that comes into a brokerage that provides other services, I also feel like there's also, as an agent, you have to be able to familiarize yourself with every aspect of a transaction, right?
Mhm.
Every document you have to get familiar. You have to go through the ins and outs of putting and submitting all these repairs for requests, reviewing everything and handling the clients from start to finish. Because at the end of the day, if you increase production, and if you were to switch to another brokerage, then now you don't have that. That's a new territory.
Yeah.
You're submitting this, and all of a sudden you don't have a transaction coordinator, somebody handling the repair for request for you, and you have to do all of that, and you are trying to stay in production, the same capacity. That's a whole new ballgame. I think it's essential to go through all those documents, to all that process, and as you see fit and growth, then you can add those tools and personnel to be able to help you and keep that production. Because yeah, we all want to get there to that level of 5, 10 transactions a month and be able to stay consistent and make sure that everything goes through accordingly for each one of them, which is tough. The more you add stuff to your plate, if you don't have the systems in place, it's hard to not to miss something.
Yeah.
So, all right, good deal, good deal. Some good stuff. And what do we have coming up for? I know you and I are working on a number of things, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited to put it out here and share with the audience. And but that's coming soon. Coming soon.
So we have actually a lot of stuff coming up. Super excited about it. We are very, very close to dropping Run My CRM Glitch, which is a cute little robot. And we'll be talking probably on Thursday and Tuesday a little bit more about that, maybe doing some show and tell. Right now, we are in the stages of uh, beta testing that. So it's super excited, but it kind of goes along the lines of what you're talking about right now. It's pretty much what it says, run my CRM. Everybody wants to use a CRM, right? Especially real estate agents. I swear we will buy anything. Real estate agents are the easiest people to sell to. You could sell them a wet book of matches and they would buy 2 just to be safe. They really are like the easiest people to sell to. They're always trying to buy lead generation tools, thinking it's going to be like the next greatest thing that's going to get them, to those 10 plus deals a month. However, the norm is that, and not just in real estate, it's every industry. You buy these tools, right? And then you don't use them. And then they sit there. There's a lot of people, and it's not even just that, it's everything. It's like, how many people have so many subscriptions every month that they're paying for like Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, whatever. They don't use them, but they don't cancel them either. And they're just sitting there, all these tools. So what we've done is we've come up with a way to help people use their CRM. A lot of people, the main issues people have is, I don't know how to use it. It's too complicated. It's not user friendly. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I don't have the time for that. So what, in essence, we've done is taking your CRM and turning it into your personal assistant, turning it into your transaction coordinator. So it'll be more like a chat conversation than actually having to sit down and update your pipeline. Nobody wants to go in and update your pipeline. And like, what do we always say? Update your pipeline, update your pipeline, update your pipeline. And nobody's like, I don't know, go to the office and sit down and update my pipeline or put in my notes or anything like that into my CRM. So with what we're working on, it's going to be pretty awesome because it can be as simple as, hey glitch, add notes to this account, or hey glitch, send this invoice, or hey glitch, how many phone calls did I miss while I was in that meeting? It's pretty exciting, pretty nice way to be able to handle things instead of having to sit down and use a CRM.
Nice, nice. I'm excited for this. I think it's a game changer, and I think as real estate agent, I'm excited to see it, to use it myself, and and to see what it does for everybody else. Because it's not just going to be real estate. I think it's a we all should be using the CRM and actually we using the CRM. You
And
know,
yeah,
that,
like you said, it can be any industry that you're in. If it's a restaurant and you're like, hey, I need to update my order website, go update this, or hey, we don't have so many tables available, we only have this 10 tables available, go update that. If you're a roofing company, a plumber, you name it, and we can customize it for you and we can make it work for you. So it's just going to really change the way that people follow up with their leads and their overall business because they'll be more organized.
good, good. This is, man, excited. It's gonna be good. So stay tuned for more
Yep.
here on Real Talk HA. So
Oh, so actually, I'll give you a little sneak peek real quick of something that I did. Now, this is a little bit beyond what the CRM can do, but we can also set up something like this for you. You would just have to book a consultation. So one thing I did is I set up for my bots to every night scrub what my kids have going on the next day. So whether they have assignments due for school, they have activities at school, we have whatever's going on, I get a report in the morning of, so, your daughter has this test today, your son has this test today, this homework packet was due, this grade is 0 in the grade book. So I can look at my little bots and I can start texting my kids and be like, what's going on? Why is there a 0?
oh damn!
Did you study for that math test you got today? So,
I
you know,
thought you turned that assignment in. What happened?
right? Oh, let me guess. The teacher hasn't graded it yet. That's what I always get hit with. My teacher hasn't graded it yet.
I have one of those here at home that says that all the time. Every time an assignment or a grade is off, I submitted the grade. I submitted everything. She probably hasn't graded it. I'm like, how can everybody else grade it? That particular teacher never grades her stuff on time.
Right. That's what I'm like. So you're telling me everybody else got their stuff graded but you?
I'm gonna ask the teacher, like, have you graded this for everybody else but my kid? So yeah, it's every time. Every time we get the report card, we hear that comment afterwards,
Yeah.
and it's guaranteed.
I'll have to get the bot set up for you too, Andres, so you can be like, hey,
What's going on?
what's going on?
Seriously, I still have my computer here. I need to set it up for a number of things specifically for that. So
But yes,
do it.
so it's very exciting. I think we're pretty much running out of time today. I think maybe Thursday, instead of Am I the Asshole, we actually talk about all the latest AI stuff that's going on. It's crazy right now. It's insane. Everything is it's insane. And kind of dive more into what we can do with this and how we can help people set up that so that they can start having their AI assistants do things for them as well.
Hey, we need to have might need to open up a wait list of people that are interested in learning more specifically on Thursday. That way, as we go through the beta testing, we can start providing people more information about what we have going on and get them ready to roll as soon as we go live.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, man. This has been great, Heather. It's good to be back. I miss this. I miss, we're going into a year in July. You know that? So Well, we got to start planning on what we're gonna do for July 1st, July 3rd,
Right? Have a celebration.
right? So this is gonna be good. I think, man. See, this is part of the normal now. Just being here, being able to do this. This is why we do this. So many things have transcended over the past year, and we continue to put great things out there, and even better things that are coming up. So let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, for real. And we just want to say if you guys are interested in anything we have going on, don't forget to go to our website, www.realtalkha.com. Like, subscribe, follow, and share so you never miss an episode. And drop us a message if you're interested in having AI assistants built for you.
Let's go, man. See, we're wrapping it up already, huh? So, and do us a favor again, like it, of course, send it to someone who needs to hear it, and they may be interested in learning more. Log in next week or book a consultation, like Heather said, to learn more specifically about what we're going on. So let's go. We'll see you next time for more Real Talk with Heather and Andres. Stay tuned.
See you next time.
Bye.